So everyone, I got a chance to sit down, and I am in the Court of Two Sisters sandwich shop in the back of the mansion that you just saw. And I have my free sample of my, it's hot, it's my gumbo, and we're gonna try it. Everyone says they know how to, look at that steam, people. Look at that. Not everybody can make good gumbo.
No, they make good gumbo. Typically when you get, this is a sampler taste, so when you're in the restaurants,
oh my
they
gosh,
will serve a mound of rice with the gumbo soup all around. And then you kind of spoon into the rice with your gumbo as you eat. And then of course you have to have lots of French bread and butter.
So hopefully you got some imagination going on, because this here, I'm sorry my friends back home, yeah, you're not making this.
It's all in the roux.
It's very hot. Now for those you don't know, roux is like a gravy, but you have to start it out properly. A lot of times what people do is they'll take their butter, their oil, or whatever they're using, the flour, and they burn it. Because they think that a dark roux means that you burn it. And roux can be brown, roux can be white. It just all depends on what you do and how you set it up. But whatever roux they did with this, I'm rooting for them.
So typically in New Orleans, they're looking for roux to come to the color of peanut butter, or just a little bit darker than peanut butter. Now, the Creoles, which were the elite French, they did everything with butter in the formal French style of cooking. So they did butter and flour, equal parts of butter and flour. The Cajuns, the Acadians, they were the middle class families, large families, and cooked most of their meals in one big black skillet. They were the hunters and fishermen, so they rendered the fats from the animals that they hunted, and they made their roux from oil and flour. Now, this one's made with the Creole roux, and I think that there's maybe a little difference in the flavor because of the milk solids coming out of the butter as opposed to just the oil. You cook it low and slow, equal parts of the fat to the flour. Keep stirring, you never leave it, and you just keep stirring. It takes about 35 to 40 minutes to get a roux that looks the color of peanut butter. So go to that. If you go to a dark brown right off the bat, you'll taste you're almost burning the flour at the end, okay? And then when you get the roux to the color that you like, then you add in the Trinity. So the Trinity is bell pepper, onions, and celery. Here in New Orleans, we have a Holy Trinity. We add garlic, like the Pope's cat. Garlic clove is the Pope's cat.
I love your Trinity.
Okay, so that you add in the Trinity, but I found a little secret that you add in the celery and bell pepper first, and then add in the onions, so that the onions don't sweat out too much of the liquid right away, and that's how your roux suddenly kind of gets a little lighter than when you thought you started off with. So you don't want to add too much liquid in that roux right off the bat. Hold one of the things back so that it incorporates it low and slow, and kind of steams off the excess liquid. Then when everything's translucent in there, you add your seafood stock. This is shrimp and crab. You're going to add in a seafood stock. Let it come to a rolling boil. When it comes to a full boil, it will become thick. That is as thick it will ever be. Don't think that the longer you boil it, the thicker it's going to get. That the amount of roux that you made to the proportion of the stock is how thick your soup is. Many places will have either a thin gumbo. Some places are very thick, but most times they're running between thinner and medium, and not too many places have a thick gumbo. You don't really want a thick gumbo.
No.
Once it comes to that full boil and it looks nice, the consistency that you like it, then they go in and add their good seafood of the crab and of the shrimp. This way you don't overcook your shrimp.
Yes.
And it becomes rubbery. Now, let's add the okra in here. Not every restaurant adds okra.
But I think that's the best part.
It is a fantastic part. And one of the chefs in the old coffee pot shed had a trick where he would saute some of his okra in the beginning with the Trinity.
Okay.
And that okra is a natural thickener.
Yes.
And then he would bake or roast chopped okra in the oven for about 10 minutes to seize up some of that extra gelatinous and then throw the okra in at the end so that it wasn't too, some people feel okra could be slick or slimy.
Yeah.
So that is a little trick to cut down on that extra gel in your gumbo, okay?
Yes.
Now, gumbo is actually named after the okra pod.
Didn't know that.
Well, the slave women, when they came over, brought seeds. They didn't know if they were going to live or die, so they hid the seeds around their body or in little gree bags. G-R-I-S, G-R-I-S. They had their wedding band in there and seeds. When they got sold and they had the kitchen garden, they threw the seeds in the garden. This particular plant is not native to the United States. It came from Africa, grew 5 feet tall, got beautiful little hibiscus flowers on it, and then the okra pod came out. The French chef was making stew one evening and did not know how to use this vegetable that the slave woman harvested. So she showed him how to cut it and use it and incorporate it into the stew for that evening. Everyone absolutely loved it. And so she just dried more of the pods, and it's an heirloom vegetable, and then that's how the okra pods became available here in the South, all through the South.
I did not know that.
From kitchen garden to kitchen garden. So it's truly an heirloom vegetable. And the gumbo is named after the okra pod. The African word for gumbo is king gumbo. And so the gumbo is named after the okra pod. So this is actually a French and African influenced dish.
I just learned something about my heritage right there. I did not know that at all. But as she's been talking, I've been enjoying the food, and it's been really, really good. So a lot of information, and I hope you learned a lot about gumbo today.